Hi there, this is Corey. I'm at Porsche Colorado Springs, and behind me I've got a 2004 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S in Cobalt Blue. Let's take a closer look. In front of me I've got a 2004 Porsche 911 C4S in Cobalt Blue Metallic. What a cool color. I'm a big fan of blue cars in general, and this particular shade is really nice. Quite like it. This one comes to us with about 60,000 miles on the clock, so not too bad. It does have aftermarket wheels, but I want to point out we do have the factory wheels, and I think we're actually going to be putting those back on here pretty soon to try to keep with the originality of the car. The car is mostly original. A couple things that aren't, and I'll point those out. Things like it's got the European clear side markers on it. It does have paint protection film on the front partial up the hood and fender edges. It appears, I believe it's got it on the front bumper as well. I can't quite tell, actually. That's interesting. No, it hasn't. It doesn't have it on the front bumper because I can see there's a number of rock chips here. Full disclosure. So, and it has the bumper plugs to plug in where originally there would have been a front license plate bracket. But the headlights on this car look great. This is the 996.2, so it doesn't have that ugly amber section on it like the earlier cars. I do appreciate that. They look nice and clean and clear. They're not cracked or yellowing or anything like that. So that's nice to see. I do see a spot of touch-up on the hood here. I bet if somebody spent a little time with the polisher, they could probably make that look better. That looks like it was just kind of globbed on with a brush, like you get in those kits, unfortunately. But I do see a small stone chip there in the windshield, and another couple little pits on that side, but nothing super bad. Let's see, what else can I tell you about it? Paint protection film, this is a factory area. It doesn't look like the original though, because it's not all yellow and nasty. So that looks like it's been replaced. Windows have been tinted. This has got the deployable rear spoiler, body color Carrera 4S emblems. The 4S has always got this red taillight strip across the center, and the fenders are obviously wider. That's kind of how you can tell them apart. Then it has the vents here in the back, and then usually the way you can tell them apart from a turbo is the turbos would have the scoops on the side here along with usually a bigger rear spoiler. So that's visually how you can tell the cars apart. This has got a 3.6 liter flat six. I think it's 315 horsepower if memory serves me, and I think about 273 or 276 pound-feet of torque thereabouts. Oh, I should have mentioned earlier, 6-speed manual transmission. Obviously everybody wants to hear that right away. Make sure it's not a Tiptronic. And this features a gray interior. I know everyone's favorite color is probably the black interior, but black doesn't work with cobalt blue. Like, that would just look like a bruise. Black and blue, you know, it's kind of why I'm not too fond of these black wheels personally. But no, the gray interior is in pretty good shape. I will mention the defects that I do see. Door panels look all right. Stereo from Bose. We get our usual scuffing on this rubberized sill plate here. I think it's actually also called a scuff panel, so you know that's kind of what it's for. Leather is in pretty decent shape on the seats. These have the more bolstered sport seats, and yeah, a little bit of wear and tear around the seat adjustment points, or the switches rather. Does have driver's seat memory. I'm gonna pull this key out so it stops binging and bonging at me. Oh, let's see. 60,886 on the odometer. It does have the upgraded PCM system. I have the service receipt from this. It was like $3,000 installed. So pretty awesome that the previous owner would have taken care of that for the next owner, right? Carbon fiber trim, I believe, is factory. I should have re-referenced the build sheet on this car, but definitely some cracking on these. I see this in all of, this is why I don't particularly care for carbon fiber options in older cars, because this is what ends up happening. Handbrake handle, shift knob, and then this trim up here. So, you know, if it were me and I were a total stickler, I'd probably go ahead and replace these trim panels, but I mean, it is what it is. Leather dash looks to be pretty good. I don't see any delamination. I do see one little chip here in the leather. I'm not quite sure what happened there. But outside of that, the lower dash looks good. These panels look good. These panels look good. So all the leather's held up pretty well. I think, and I'm not positive if these panels are leather too. They look like it. Going back behind us to the rear seats. All the carpet looks to be in really good shape. These rear leather panels look good. Passenger seat looks good. Let's open this bad boy up. So this is part of the upgraded PCM system that adds the USB and auxiliary inputs, and there's also going to be a microphone here for Bluetooth. Center console is body color. That's not factory. That was hand painted, but like spray painted at a certain point. Condition is passable. I'm not going to say it's great, but it's passable. Single zone automatic temperature control. Obviously, this car is going to be a little too old for the old backup camera and blind spot indicators and all the driver aids, but you know, that's not what you buy these for. Look at this uncluttered steering wheel with no buttons, no paddles, no haptic nonsense. Come on, this is the stuff we love. Oh, and I forgot to mention too that the headliner is Alcantara synthetic suede, which I always appreciate. Let's go ahead and open the two lids here. All right, so I see it has a Fab Speed air inlet tube. That's a pretty popular upgrade. Engine compartment looks pretty clean though in there, I have to say. Almost looks like that power steering reservoir might have been replaced. Either that or it's just the plastics have held up really well. This car has been upgraded with a RS Tune oil-fed IMS bearing. So that's going to hopefully eliminate, the idea, of course, is that it will eliminate the possibility of IMS bearing failure in the future, which is kind of the potential issue that plagues all of these cars. Not plagues all of them, but plagued enough of them that, you know, caused a real scare for some of these M96 and M97 engines. I think that overflow tank's also been replaced recently because that looks like it's pretty clean. At some point, it's had new engine lid, I believe, and front hood struts installed. We'll take a peek underneath, see if there's anything aftermarket there. No, those look like the factory manifolds. And the amount of corrosion underneath, which isn't much, looks consistent with an engine that's original to the car. From what I understand, we did the IMS bearing as a preventative measure, not in response to any sort of failure. So that's good news. I think these tires are relatively fresh also. These will be the ones going back on the car with the original wheels. Yeah, late 2022 date codes on the rear and 2026 date codes on the front, so those are fresh. Go ahead and pop the hood here. What do we have? All right, so we've got the factory CD changer. I believe we did a brake fluid exchange on this car to prepare it for sale. This looks to me like a car cover and a window sunshade. If you have a leather dashboard, folks, you need a window sunshade if the car is going to spend any time outside. Trust me. So glad to see both of those items coming with the car. Here's your original options sheet on the inside of the hood. So that's pretty cool. You know what I haven't been doing a lot of lately is driving videos, and I've never driven a C4S, so let's get it out on the road and see how it drives. Okay, this camera position is slightly less than ideal, but we're gonna do our best. That's reverse. Let's try first gear. What is it, my first day? Oh, that's too loud. Turn the fan down. Okay. Having a go in the 04 911 C4S. Check my mirrors. Oh, that one's really low. There we go. That's better. Okay. Shifter feels nice so far. This, oh yeah, manual fore and aft adjustment. Come up a smidge, there we go. Clutch pedal squeaks a little bit. if we can do anything about that. Steering feels tight. Steering wheel's dead on. Once we get it on a straight stretch of road, I'll make sure it's not pulling to any direction. Shouldn't be. Brakes feel pretty good initially. And I'm going to slowly bring this one up to temperature before I get too excited. Nice and quiet in the cabin. You get a little bit of engine noise, a little bit of road noise, but I could have a very nice conversation with my passenger. It's taking these bumps really nicely. There's a lot of cracks in the pavement on this road. They start to get worse here in a few moments, so we'll see how that feels. It handles these pavement cracks pretty well. Not as well as a brand new one, but not horrible either. It's, well, it's a sports car, and I'll leave it at that. But it's a 3,200-pound sports car, which by modern standards is awfully lightweight. I mean, that's not too bad. Yeah, we're just moving along at a nice brisk pace. Well, relatively brisk. Observing speed limits, but feels like a 911 so far. These side bolsters do come into your shoulders a bit. I'm really narrow, so that doesn't bother me. But if you are a larger, wider framed person, bear that in mind. Engine feels really healthy. This is a lot like the 2005 911 Carrera I sold a few weeks ago. Feels very similar. I mean, almost indistinguishable. Yeah, you know, I picked apart the interior a little bit earlier when I mentioned like the cracks in the carbon fiber and whatever, but when you're in the driver's seat, looking out over this beautiful cobalt blue hood, and you know, all this stuff in front of you looks beautiful. The rest of that doesn't really matter quite as much, I don't think. All right, I'm going to try to overtake this Jeep here. So let's. I guess we got enough oil temperature. Yep. Oh yeah, piece of cake. Oh, that sounds great. I love the sound of a flat 6 over 5,000 RPM. Good pedal placement as always. You can rev match downshift and heel toe. Nice linear build of power and torque. Brakes feel pretty good. I'm not completely standing on them, but I'm giving them a good stab. Yeah, turn in feels great. That all-wheel drive just wants to pull you right through the corner. Oh yeah, that's fun. If a car goes through that corner well, I deem it adequate, or not adequate, but you know, good. That was great. Yeah, it does what every 911 should do. It handles high speed well, it handles corners well, it sounds good. All of your inputs from steering and pedals and shifter and all of that are great to interact with. All right, we're gonna turn around and do that once more. Because that's better than sitting in traffic. We'll just, I know there's nothing wrong with this clutch, but I'll put it in 6th and bog it a little bit, make sure it doesn't slip. And it doesn't. So that's good. I'm guessing based off of the service history on this car that the clutch was replaced sometime in, I think, 2018. There's a Carfax entry that shows that the rear main seal was replaced. If you're going to be in there doing a rear main seal, you'd be foolish not to do a clutch. And since then, we did the RS Tune oil-fed IMS bearing. I believe that was about a year ago. So that is great. And I didn't notice any excessive oil puffing out of the exhaust, which might be an indicator that we have an bore scoring issue. So I think this engine's pretty darn healthy. I think this car's pretty healthy. This thing feels great. That's a really tight corner. That all-wheel drive actually really helped there. So the question that I always try to answer when I do one of these driving videos is, would I own this car for myself? In other words, does it do everything I want it to do? Is it enjoyable? Could I live with it every day? Yeah, I'm gonna say 2 thumbs up on this one. It's quiet inside. There's no real obvious creaks or squeaks or rattles, and we're going over bump after bump after bump after bump here, so that would really expose any sort of flaws in that regard. The car handles great, it accelerates well, it sounds great, the visibility is good. There's another guy on YouTube that calls these the driver's era cars because they're modern enough that you can use them regularly, but they're old school enough that it's not hampered by a bunch of electronic stupidity. And yeah, I'm a fan. Definitely a fan of this one. I can't wait to see it with the factory wheels back on it. Although I will say, I think if I were buying this car, I would find a set of turbo twists to put on it, and I think that would really make it look awesome. Yeah, you get into a rhythm in a 911, it just feels so natural. And the cool thing about this car, being the C4S, it's all-wheel drive. You could throw a set of winter tires on this thing. You know, it's old enough. It's, you know, it's valuable. You know, I'm not going to pretend it isn't. We've got it priced around $60,000. It's a lot of money for a 22-year-old car. But it's not like you're driving a $300,000 GT3 Touring. You can go out, drive this thing all the time in any weather condition, and it'll just do it. Yeah, all in all, this car feels pretty fresh for being 22 years old, if that makes sense. Really enjoyable. I think whoever ends up with this car is going to be a very happy camper. And, you know, cherry on top being that it's offered at a Porsche dealership. It's been serviced by Porsche technicians. It's been serviced by us for the last year, in fact. And it's a really cool color. Cobalt Blue is just awesome. Okay, once more, that's our 2004 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S in Cobalt Blue. This one's hitting the market right about $60,000. If you're interested in learning more, please give me a call. My direct phone line is area code 719-219-5015. Please like the video, leave a comment below, and consider subscribing for more sports car content from Cars and Corey. Thank you so much for watching.